Today we're diving into one of the most famous stories in the Bible, David and Goliath. It's a story about courage, faith, and the unexpected hero who stepped forward when no one else would. Our story takes place in ancient Israel. Two armies, the Israelites and the Philistines, are camped on opposite hills, facing each other across a valley. The tension is high because everyone knows that a full battle would be devastating. So the Philistines send out their champion, a giant soldier named Goliath. Goliath is enormous, about 9 feet tall, covered in heavy armor, and carrying weapons most men could never lift. Every morning and every evening, he walks into the valley and shouts a challenge. "Choose a man to fight me. If he wins, we will be your servants. But if I win, you will serve us." The Israelites are terrified. No one volunteers. Days turn into weeks, and still no one wants to face the giant. Meanwhile, far away, a young shepherd named David is watching over sheep. David is the youngest of 8 brothers, and he's used to being overlooked. He spends his days protecting his flock, playing music and writing songs. He has no armor, no sword, and definitely no battlefield training. But he does have something important, an unshakable faith in God. One day, David's father sends him to the battlefield with food for his older brothers. When David arrives, he hears Goliath shouting his usual challenge and sees how everyone around him is paralyzed with fear. David can't understand why no one is doing anything. People laugh at him when he questions it. They tell him he's too young, too small, too inexperienced. Even his own brother accuses him of being nosy. But David isn't trying to prove anything. He simply believes that someone needs to stand up to the giant who is insulting God and frightening God's people. Word gets around, and King Saul calls for him. When David says he wants to fight Goliath, Saul can hardly believe it. "You're just a boy," he says. "Goliath has been a warrior his entire life." David explains that as a shepherd, he has fought off lions and bears to protect his sheep. He didn't rely on strength, he relied on God. And he believes that the same God who helped him before will help him again. Saul finally agrees and insists David wear the royal armor. But once David tries it on, he realizes he can barely move. He takes it off and chooses instead a simple staff, a sling, and 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream. That's all he needs. David walks into the valley to meet Goliath. When Goliath sees him, he bursts into laughter. "Is this a joke?" he roars. "You send a boy to fight me." But David stands firm and answers, "You come to me with a sword and a spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord." David reaches into his bag, takes out 1 stone, places it in his sling, and begins to swing it. The stone flies through the air and hits Goliath right in the forehead. The giant stops, stumbles, and falls face down on the ground. The battlefield goes silent. A shepherd boy has just defeated a giant. Not with size, not with armor, but with faith, courage, and a willingness to step forward when no one else would. David's victory saves the Israelite army and marks the beginning of a journey that will eventually lead him to become one of Israel's greatest kings. But the message of the story isn't just about victory on the battlefield. It's about what happens when someone chooses courage over fear. We all face giants in life, challenges that seem too big or too overwhelming. Sometimes these giants are outside of us, and sometimes they're inside of us. Giant. Thank you for joining us for this retelling of David and Goliath.